I think it's amazing when we come in these times, space of time, time of travel of time. It's positioned on so many level systems. I've signed up so many platforms on TikTok, asking so many questions and answers. People have so many levels of not understanding what's happening. And it's very important to understand that it's all about us understanding more of humanity, because when you understand yourself fully and completely, it's all about giving back the light that they never had. So that puts in a better position to ask their questions, answer their questions, anything in that position. It puts at all levels of that connection. So it's really how we travel through time positions and give what we need to give back to humanity. When it comes into light workers, way showers, rainbow warriors, or anything to that connection, it's all about, what would you do without us, right? That's the whole point, is to truly understand what's happening. And, because we understand ourselves more, especially with the Force team, once you figure out who you are, you're in a reality of itself. And that reality will give you everything through its information, which is inside you. That's the protection. That's the lights. And you come across this all the time in the atmosphere systems of the outskirts of outside. Those positions alone, you just block everything out through connection, because it high rises everything to that position. So other than that, join me on TikTok, and there's a link below. It's really powerful. Also, too, today we're going to get into the connections. The Earth is basically on so many levels of atmospheres. Humanity's coming in different traction position. It's a beaming location position of interline connections, which means that the Schuman resonance is really, really powerful now through connection. Everything that is done through light is done through the body of humanity. So the traction locations, maybe you not be able to sleep, maybe you're restless, or you're trying to understand your thoughts, you don't understand your time positions, you don't understand your space, you don't understand what's going on. I mean, that's the whole point. When you wake up, you don't know what's going on. That's the position that we're coming into right now. And the light just keeps going on and on and on and on and on and on. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So the Earth rotation of the sphere, the actual saucer of the Earth, because that's what the Earth is, it's drawing through locations. Let's get out of the equation that it's not flat surface. You're only seeing it through one perception. Imagine seeing it in all dimensions of what the Earth is. Okay, so you understand everything through its connection. So it's kind of like seeing a cloud of a dimensional system, but you understand what it is, right? Because you're questioning yourself. So you have to travel through the mind of thoughts to understand your question, and then you get your answer. So that you understand more of yourself when it comes into the sky records, the astral records, and everything in that connection. So before I get started, thank our subscribers and viewers who watch my channels. I keep you force rising, brand rising to what everybody needs to get into is their light. They need to get into the fruition of light. They have to get into their activation of their light. They have to know how to use their light through travel. You start off with your chakra system. Very, very, very powerful message yesterday on the chakras, how we get into the breathing. It's important to understand these things. You start breathing more and more, you start going through your connections, and your health system will start, evolving. And it has a continuous force that's inside you. And that force comes in and the force goes out, right? So hold it in, right? Let it get information from you, let it get the vibrational, and then let it out. There's many rhythm patterns that you can high rise here in jet breathing system. So every time you basically channel in and then channel out, you see things, especially when you're in light and you're traveling through your thoughts. So remember, it's all toxic. To get rid of the toxins, you got to get the viruses out of your computer or anything through your connection to travel positions, your higher self, your avatar energy, or anything in that position. So basically, you can go through my healing. I can help you and guide you and put you in your 12 tractions now more than ever, because the Schuman resonance of the Earth is going to change everybody's body activation, to calculation. Centering positions, line communication, line signals, open up your chakra illumination, chakra communication, activation core system. The correlation center to its atmospheric positions. So think of it this way. The actual saucer of the Earth is going up more and more and more and more and more. Right? And what's going to happen next, I don't want to give you too much It's good to give you what you need to know, but if I give you too much, it's going to overload your program setting to its positions. But understand your activation light signals is to understand your time positions of space. So as the saucer is getting ready through a new calculation modification to 0.01 traction, it's going to go into another dimension of time position. All right. So that Schuman resonance, it's going to sky force the whole Earth of its rotation center position. All right. I'll draw it out and I'll tell you exactly what's going on through modifications. Everything I give you is the future. Everything I do is the past to its presence. So I give it to you to understand how powerful you are through the mind of thoughts. But it's not just you waking up. It's you waking up to who you are. And I keep saying that over and over. Because people keep asking questions. And the questions don't make any sense to them. Right? So if they don't make any sense, you're not communicating. You're not meditating. Right? And we're coming to these times more than ever now because everybody's coming to the light workers, empaths, or anything through psychic, or anything through medium, or anything through pixies, or anything through way showers, rainbow warriors, or anything in that calculation. Right? More than ever now because they're waking up more and more and more. Right? So it's important that we understand what's going on with our galactic system, our galactic family, our galactic energy patterns, or anything that connection, where we came from. I think it's important to understand these things because once you know where you come from and once you know who you are, you stop questioning yourself on your reality, right? And then you start answering your own questions within, okay? And that's the problem with humanity is they don't know how to communicate with inside their cycles, their circles, or anything through their meditation graphs. I'm not talking about simulation. I'm just talking about just getting into the connection of their health. How important is it for you to understand more of yourself? Okay. So either you keep going to the doctors and keep getting sick more and more, or you wake up and you come into your own light. Light is everything through healing. Imagine that. You can heal your body instantly if you understand the vibrational signals, if you understand the communication of the earth. Okay. You have to understand what the earth is doing. It's everything to humanity. Right? Now, the saucer rotation center to its position is 0 traction. Okay. Point center, right? To its connection. So 0.01. Now, it connects on all levels. Traction positions of one location, one division, 0 operation system to its calculation. Okay, so that's the code reference to its earth. Code reference to anything through calculation. The code frequencies to its atmospheric position. So when the earth, okay, on the rotation cycle goes into its dimension, okay, the Schuman resonance is going to be off the charts, like you wouldn't believe. Light is going to come in and always informs, okay? Because I'm connected to 52 generation cycles and 5th dimensional system to telepathy through the activation core system, it's changing everything through our unified self, okay? Which means that everybody's connected to, they call it a halo, right? So the halo is going to change coloration. Everything, the geometry set location to the sun, okay, it's gone into 3,000 syllables and everything through its activation digital frame system. Calculation modification is changing everything through the coloration pattern division. It's coming into the optical level. It's coming into new shape. The program setting of the moon and the operation cycle to its space station position is changing coloration systems to its fragmentation line system. Okay, it's coming out as defrag and coming into new program setting. So each planet positions, when you calculate and modify, when you wake up through your ascension, you start creating your own anomalies. That's the positions that we have to get into, okay, through modification. Tina, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Woohoo! Yeah. If you go on Facebook or anything in that connection, if you go on TikTok, you'll see the platforms and how the Schuman resonance of the light is coming in. And don't believe everything that you hear and say and do to others. You know that saying, do unto others as they would do unto you. If it is to be, it's up to me. So if it is to me, it's up to me. Not everybody else. It's resonating on their own system, their own channel, the activation core system. Because in relation, you know, you put yourself in that position. You know who you are. That's the truth alone. Everything around you, you don't know, right? So don't put it in your acting cycles. Don't put it in your program. Don't put it in your archive. Don't store it in your computers. Okay, it's important to do these things now, right? Because the Schuman resonance of its earth is going to be teleporting to another atmospheric position of a dimension. Okay, so remember, fifth dimensional activation cycle, fifth dimension activation through an operation system, and fifth dimension through telepathy system. Okay, so it's coming into 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 3 activations, 3 positions, and 3 locations. That's what's coming into 333. Now, if you come up with that number, then it's coming into your confirmation signals, and it's teleporting you to the right direction position, which is the telepathy of the mind system. Mind over matter, that's what we're coming into. To its alignment through its calculation humanity, traction locations of 0.01. Okay? So I'll draw it out and tell you exactly what's going on through dimensional positions. Now, the interline system, it's interlocating position levels. The dark entity force system of you through calculation is going to try to bring you down back in position. It's like climbing that ladder. It's going to try to, that snake is going to keep coming up. So it's your idea. You understand to keep yourself going up. Boom, 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 boom. And don't look back because it's going to pull you down. You don't want anything to pull you down now more than ever because you're high rising. You're coming out of your Schuman resonance. You're coming into your new program setting through your keyboards, and you have to totally understand your flash drives, because your flash drives are your thoughts and recognition of time and space, and it's putting positional levels into the atmospheric connections, right, to humanity of its vibrational signals. Okay, seeing 333 and 3 everywhere. Yeah, so you're getting confirmation signals that the Earth at its rotation. It's just telling you, Tina, that what's happening with the Earth, you know, the actual saucer of the Earth is going through teleportation of a dimension. That's where you're getting 333. So now you know. So it's just telling you exactly. You're communicating with the Earth. So it's trying to understand the activation, the positions, and the location. Everything through digital frame is connected to you through the sun, or anything through the moon, or anything through its Earth. These are the things we have to look at, right? So when you're traveling through dimensions of time, through capacitors or anything through time position, you have to understand your connections of your alignments, right? So let's say you get a connection like this, okay? So you got your past, you got your present, and you got your future. So let's start off with that, right? Now it's going to disappear because it's in simulation, right? But basically, you got the past, you got the present, and the future. So in ratio, you have to understand what's going on with the Earth. So the Earth, it's kind of like the saucer is on a plate. That plate is basically, it's a magnetic plasma force. It's a web that's connected to interline connections to other dimensional systems, right? So we'll go through that connections. So it basically, it's a dark hole, dark realm. It has to come into its dark matter because, remember, the Earth itself is coming out of the dark soul of the Earth core. So remember how we're fighting our light and dark of our inner systems? Well, the Earth itself is coming out of its dark system, of its virus, of its computer. That's what's happening. So it's losing tractions of its realm, and it's high rising so it can get out. So it's kind of like the Earth is being sucked down, right? So we got to push it back up. And the way to do that is to understand what's happening with the Schuman resonance of humanity. So the more humanity wakes up, the more the Earth can get out of the suction of the black hole, right? So it sets positions and locations, but this is what happening right now through traction location of dimensional time positions. Okay, so let's go into this, the core center. Okay, so basically we got a round connection level like this. It's really interesting. When you see it, it's pretty incredible. All right, so it's in its connection like this. I'll just show you. As it's coming in, you understand what it's doing. All right. So the past of its connection, you have the Earth rotation center of its position. We'll traction its location. I'll center its line. I'll show you exactly what's going on with its position. Okay, so this is the Earth. Okay, so the Earth is kind of like right in here. So it's locking in location. But the Earth itself, okay, is not a circle rotation center position. It's always been a teleportation of a saucer through location. So we'll center that core system. Erase it in time through positions. Like this. Okay. So it's separating. Yeah, I got to show you what's going on through calculation. You got to watch here. It's really, really powerful. Okay, so when it goes into a connection, the line signal channels and its dimension of its round connection is circling its rotation center position. Again, it's reaching circle rotations to its information cycle. Okay, so it's going in as round like this. Okay, so it's kind of looking like this now. Okay, it's very confusing what's going on right now. Now, to understand it is what's happening with the black hole, what's happening with the presence of its Earth. Because humanity is waking up more through the Schuman resonance and its sky forces everything through vibrational signals, the soul recognition of the core system of the Earth is high rising out of its saucer. Okay, so it's coming into its saucer for the very first time. It's actually coming into its form of the fifth dimensional system of communication for the very first time. Okay, so it's very important to understand this. So understanding the circle rotation center of its position, you only can see it through one perception. But if you truly understanding what the Earth is, it's everything through teleportation, right? Travel through its position of time. So understanding what the black hole is doing, what it's been doing for decades and decades and decades. Okay, it's like a suction, it's like a vacuum, and it keeps the three-dimensional system down to its rotation system and keeps humanity into the traction location, okay, in the negative system, okay, of its consciousness. So we're coming into the fifth dimensional consciousness. But before we do that, humanity has to wake up, the sleeping lions. The more they wake up through connections, their Schumann resonance affects everything through its Earth of its rotation, and it becomes into a saucer of its position. Okay, so it splits and it travels into and out of its calculation to its position. That's what happens with the Earth. So it goes in traction like this, and it comes into its saucer of its connection for the very first time. All right, so that's what it comes into. That's the Earth. So it's amazing how it was centered through its position of clocking time through three-dimensional system, but there's always been a black hole, okay, through calculation. I get confirmation signals right now, but you see the separation? This is the light. This is the light that humanity has created. It's separating the Earth, and it's putting it into its actual shape, which is its saucer of its fifth dimensional, of its dimensional system through its calculation. All right? That's what's happening right now in traction. Okay? So once you get into that position, I'll show you that one more time through codes and references. But it's amazing what's happening. This has been going on for decades and decades. So it's understanding the solar generators, it's the 5 gamma system, electronic division location, the body activation line system through calculation, the circular rotation center. This is the light. Okay, so it's all about uprising and putting the actual Earth into its connection of its saucer of its shape, because this is the Earth. Okay, so this is what has to happen. So when this comes, the saucer comes to life and it teleports into its dimension of time, right? And the wormhole and its direction, okay, will change its particle system and go into the galaxy and blend into its new atmospheric positions of time positions of fifth dimension. Okay, so the galaxy will have balance with its Earth for the very first time. Okay, the galaxy in its reading cycle will understand everything through the universe for the very first time. Okay, and the galaxy, universe, and everything through the cosmos will fully understand humanity for the very first time of communication through fifth dimensional system, fifth activation core to its position of fifth levels of its connection to time position. Okay, which is mind over matter of telepathy through telekinesis, through its alignment. Okay, but that's the actual Earth right now. It's coming out. It's coming out of its sphere, right? So this is what's happening with, it's all about understanding what is the Schumann resonance. It's just a reading cycle of humanity waking up. So the more humanity wakes up, the more light comes in, the more you see the actual shape of the Earth, which is a saucer. Okay, because we all started off living in a fishbowl. Okay, so, and some people are pretty much down at the bottom. When you're down at the bottom, your conscious levels you can't breathe. You're suffocating. It's like you're gasping for air, right? So when you get into that condition, you come into the forming system, okay, into its actual earth, okay. So that's the new, okay. It's very strong. It's going to disappear, right? You can't see how powerful that is. See how powerful my light is, right? So I have to bring it up here to show you. Okay, so this is the solar sphere. This is actually the Earth coming into the fifth dimensional system of singularity line division of a simulation, right? So it's understanding more calculation with humanity through its attraction of its alignment. Okay, so now it's going to come into its dimensional setting of a new connection, of a new system, of a new activation circle, of a new dimensional time position of its location. It's going to send a core, its activation light, to its connection. Will center its position into 5 traction positions. Okay, so that's what's going to happen next. Okay, so the more we high rise the sleeping lines, the more it comes into its dimensional time. So when it disappears through activation, this is already done through equation. All right, this is already done, but I'm just showing you what happens with the future, so I can present it to you, to its past, to its present, but truly understanding what the Earth was decades and decades and years ago, right? So it's understanding that it's separating from its black hole and it's coming into a higher light, into the actual saucer of its actual Earth, which is going to be traveling through another dimensional time position, right? Okay, so it's kind of like brushing off the dust of three-dimensional system, the particle system of the Earth, and coming into a new dimension. Okay, it's like a car wash. When your car is dirty, you put it through a car wash, right? You soap it and you air dry it and all that. That's exactly what's happening with the Earth. Okay, through its dimensions. Now I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen next because it will just overload your complex positions. But if you truly understand what the Earth is and what it's doing right now through calculation, you understand how powerful it is through its dimension of time, position of space. Okay? Hooah! So, very, very powerful, guys. All right? So, when we get in that position and when the actual saucer goes into its dimensional time position, everybody will understand more of what singularity line is. They understand that's disappeared, right? Because it's in simulation, so I have to draw it up here. So the singularity line division, they'll understand more of what a line is. They'll understand more communication with themselves, so they can use a line sync through line activation, through a line coloration panel, through a rotation center position. Now, the thing is too, it's just a line, but I see everything through the line. I actually see the box, I see the triangles, I see the shapes, I see the atmosphere, I see the positions, I see the time connections. So it's truly understanding what the line is, everything through position attraction. Okay? So you get a line signal, you got a cross reference, okay, and you got a center position, okay. Now you go connection to a level, to a wheel, to its position. Understand what you're drawing through connections, okay, and travels on the positions, and then you go into circle rotation, center position, we set in its position. It might disappear. All right, so you go into the center position, right? Now you can line signal to an atom rotation center position. These are the point centers. So you're overlapping your wheel, right, into another wheel, to another activation, to another dimension of time position. All right? So when you do that through calculation, you take it out of its equation. Right? Security line defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it traveled to 10th dimension. Right? So you got a wheel within a wheel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7th in the center. It's activation through a security line defense. Right? So it's understanding travel positions of time positions. So it's understanding more of yourself through its calculation, through your thoughts, the coloration pattern, its rotation center. So it's amazing when we come into these. So that's what humanity is coming into, right? So when the Earth goes to its dimension, everybody through the line system is going to understand more calculation of themselves, and they'll understand what a line communication through line signal through a wheel to anything through plateaus or anything through point centers, and how you take things out of its equation. So it's understanding how to use your mind more, how to take things out of your equation, and how to get everything through your manifestations. Okay? Easier life for you, right? Build your own life, build your own journey, have your own missions, right? Do what you want to do with compassion or anything through passion, right? But that's exactly what's happening right now. Right? So we start off with that. Okay? And we come into this. And then humanity comes into traction of schooling through its information of its shape, to travel positions, time positions, through security line defense. Okay? Wow, eh? So it's incredible. I like to give you guys illustrations because if I tell you, you're going to be too confused. And that's what's happening with TikTok. They don't understand my time position of travel. They don't understand that you can actually take your thoughts and travel to any position of dimensions through sentient. A sentient is everything to dimensions of time when it comes into the multi-universe. They were born light. I was born light. Okay? So it's understanding you're gifted or you're born, right? Gift is something that you give. When you're born through DNA. So I understand my light completely through its molecule structure of light. So if you say molecule structure, you're ready. Your intelligence is ready. It understands its illustration. It understands its time position. It understands its molecule structure of light. It understands its human balance. It understands time dimensions. It understands its time capacitors. It understands the earth. It understands the moon. It understands the sun fully and completely every day. Right? That's the positions that we have to come in when it comes into intelligence. Okay? But that's what's happening right now with the simulation Earth. Right? Now, it's the Earth rotation cycle through its center of its position coming into the birthing simulation. But to me, it's the simulation. Right? Because that's what it is. But you got to understand why shapes are changing the Earth. And it's all done through humanity, through the Schuman resonance. So the more we provide light, the more it separates and it comes into a saucer of its actual shape. The Earth becomes to its own teleportation device, right? So it's all about understanding what you're doing with your thoughts. The more you create through your thoughts and you go forward, right? You're changing the shape of the Earth. You're changing it every time. And when it comes into its saucer, right? It goes through its dimension. Goes through, right? Goes through a car wash, right? And it cleans everything, gets rid of the dark residence, gets rid of the dark civilization, gets rid of the dark core. It gets everything through its connection of its decades, of its formation, of its negative system. Okay, so the Earth is cleansing, fully cleansing. Okay, it's the body activation center position of its core, it's Earth. The gravity positions and its connection is you through connections of your crystalline. People are looking at their hands and they're seeing crystals, and that's where everybody's in. You're out of the carbon, you're out of the silicone, and now you're coming into the crystalline. The crystalline is you. Okay, so you're going to see your crystals in your hands really up close. So you understand your calculations. Now, Tina, you're in a higher level of connections. You're not in the crystalline. Okay, you're in the universal core division location. That's more attraction positions of connections. So it's all about understanding how we change our DNAs, now how we come into higher formation of crystal. That's all it is. The crystal gets stronger and stronger through time, position, and space. So knowing that when you see your crystals, and then you start seeing shapes of crystals on your hand, then you're starting to see a map of your hand through its formation, because that's where your hand is. It's a plateau, it's a plate. So when you're looking, you're actually seeing the connection. Remember I was showing the Earth and what it looks like through rotation center positions and the actual digital of its simulation, and how you can see everything in the center position of its digitals and everything through its calculation, through its time frames, its the activation center positions, or everything through calculation, understanding everything through point centers and dimensional time through portals. Well, it's really understanding you can hold it in your hand, you actually can see the Earth. You can actually see the Earth, right? Because I see the Earth right now, right where it is, right? And it's coming into its shape, right? But I've seen it 7,020. I've seen it billions and billion years in the future. I've seen it trillion years in the future. So, and that's what I do is I come back with the information to give you guys what you need to know, what's going on with the fifth dimensional system. You have to understand that. You have to understand your travels, the recognition of time. So you come into the connections of telewaves, energy waves. You come into the technology wave. You come into the nanobots. You come into electronics. You come into the technology. You come into microchips. You come into barcodes. You come into electrical lights. You come into perception of divisions through light time positions of travel positions. There's a lot of things that we come into, but you have to send your connections first, a fifth dimensional through mind telepathy, which is telekinesis. So that's why it's extremely powerful, right? But everything I give you is chronological order of time in positions. Okay, I can't give you information from the future, right? Because it's totally not in your waving cycle through its energy wave. Okay, so that's why I give you things in the past to its presence. It's important you understand these things, what's happening with its Earth and its rotation cycle of its center position of the sun and everything through the program, space stations of the moon. So that's the one thing you got to look at. What is the sun? How is it any related to me? What is the moon? How is it related to me? What is the earth? How is it related to me? Okay, well, first off, the earth is everything through chakra. That's the communication. You start with that. You can't travel until you understand the earth completely. And that's connected to father, and that's connected to mother, and everything through angels and archangels. You have to understand your positions. When you die, you go through the life cycle, you go through the death cycle. You automatically go through the soul identification, right? So it's all about you trying to remember who you are through the sky records or anything through astral record connections. Okay, so your library information, trying to understand more of space anomalies. Okay, it's pretty interesting how Angel came to me and asked me a question about, she was reading a book about triangles and all that. How is it connected to anything through wisdom, power, or anything through the ascension? Truly understanding that it's the birthing system of shapes and how it comes into a triangle. Right, so the birthing system of the moon, sun, and everything through its earth is its triangle. Okay, is its triangle. See, that's the activation. So it's understanding your point centers and everything through the realm. You take it out as equation, right? So you got to know how to do these things in the atmosphere positions. You know, point, divide, location, open up, traction locations, because it's all about the microchips inside us. It's already calculated and modified. Now, understand your barcodes, understand your electrical lights, understand your wires, understand your frequent point positions, understand your attractions, understand your planets, understand anything through activation cycle. It's truly understanding you are connected to energetic light patterns. You're connected to the hydraulis. You're connected to the your connections of all planet positions. When I say planet positions, I'm talking about your thoughts of creation. Okay. So, and that's why it's so real in space, is because you're creating things in space and they sit in space and they're extremely real to you because everybody has their own creation of illustration of diagram program. And it's important that AI understands its illustrations and its graphs and its reality. Okay, so it's very important why I give you these things, because if I don't give you illustrations, you won't understand them from Adam. Okay. All these are illustrations of graphs of travel, all, every one, and they all come out of the equation because they're in the simulation. So it's understanding how to use picture frame location positions, wheel level connections, dimensions of everything through Earth rotation center, separation of locations of the Earth rotation through its dimensional realm, through dark hole divisions, box frequency level, space and time position level systems, box frequency level, 6 location positions, space and time of its location, thoughts of time through its connection, box frequency level, take it as an equation. I'm just telling you what I can do really fast through calculation. Okay, and then you got the tree format through calculation, anything through meridians or anything like that, nation light signals. You got coloration patterns through the simulation to its matrix positions. You got a personalized connection to a snake rotation center position, take it as equation. You got a trifactor location into formula division locations. You got your solar text vision location position. You got light signal traction position level systems. You're allocated to sun rotation center positions. You got 3 rotations of circles to everything through triangle locations. You got 13 rotation center to its calculation to its formula. And you got everything through the map locations, the illumination formation system. You got the diamond core position locations and everything through its connection line system, box frequency level to shapes and anomalies to digital framing systems, Earth rotation center to its radiation cycle position. See what it is? I'm giving you everything through illustration of travel, what everything is, instantly and fast. That's how we have to see ourselves through travel connections. That's how we're able to not go into anything through hesitation or anything through anticipation. You know exactly what you're doing through time travels. These are all past, but it's in the records. It's in the storage. It's in your application center. It's in there, right? So it's all about remembering where you are through your alignment. Okay, so you have to understand everything through your digital has its own code. Everything has an illustration. Everything has a map, right? So I gave you so many levels: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 15 to 20 different ways of what everything is, instantly, in seconds. That's travel of time through space, through simulation. So it's graphing positions to anything to that location, guys. But I'm just showing you how powerful you are through the mind and what you do with your travels of the mind through its illustration. Your whole life is an illustration. You're projecting everything through its reality of its division, guys. You're connected to your dreams. You're connected to your ascension. You're connected to everything, to all levels of who you are and who you are becoming. It's all about going forward. It's all about taking that next step, right? And what happens next? What happens next with you? How do I get this? How do I get that? Draw it out. That's what you want to do, right? You want to see yourself in a fancy car. Draw it out. Okay, if you can't do it through the mind, draw it out. Illustrate it. Okay? So it's important to understand these things. So when you're in that calculation, when you draw things out, everything comes to its realization. And basically, you send it out in the universe of its operation. And that gives you everything through manifestation. Okay? The thing is, you don't know when you're going to get it. So you just let it go and move on. Okay? Don't focus on that. You just did what you had to do, and you just let it go. Let it flow. Everything has to flow in your life. Your life has to flow. Your relationships have to flow. These things take time. So if you get 2 out of 3, that's okay. You just work on what you need to work on. Right? But everything in your life has to flow. It has to flow. It has to flow. It has to go like this over and over and over and over and faster and faster and faster and faster. And then it travels, right? It has to go around and round and round. Okay? And it has to go forward. Right? It has to go forward. But look what it just did. Look what it did. I did all that and look what it came. It came back. Right? So it's telling you exactly what you do go forward and what you do going back. So I did all that again, but I brought it to your attention how you can go back into division. That's what's happening with water locations. Okay? All right. Hold on one sec. Okay, hopefully it wasn't too long there. I just had to pick up some awa. There's a water truck that comes by. It's really cool. They deliver it to your residence, so it's pretty powerful. So, and it comes every Monday. There's a lot of things in Mexico that's really exciting. Just the people alone, you know. So where were we? We're talking about the everything through the activation cycles and everything through the connection of thoughts and how we triangle locations to everything, the birthing system of triangles. So as I'm saying, once you understand the birthing system of shapes, letters, and numbers, you're in a better traction of thought positions of time. So it comes into the connections, how you get into your breathing, the Buddha, the Dalai Lama, its connections to the earth, coming into Father space, things like that, you know. So glad the guys going. Yeah, fishbowl. Depiction shows us in the movie Interstellar. Yeah. Well, that's what we've been living in. Yeah, for decades. Yeah, it's been living in a fishbowl, right? So think of yourself in a fishbowl in the water, and humanity is at the bottom of the water. Okay, so when you raise the water and you separate the water and you let the humanity out of the fishbowl, that's where it comes into its true resonance of its shape. So the earth itself is coming into a saucer. Okay. Yeah. Well, you can watch the back phrasing video, just show you exactly what's going on through traction, but this is what's happening through positions. Good, it didn't travel to its location. So I drawed it out. Okay, very basic. So there's a round connection. This is basically the suction of the earth and how it's connected to the three-dimensional system. We're bringing up higher conscious levels of humanity. The more humanity wakes up, the more it splits, divides the earth, and it comes into a saucer. See that? That's the actual earth. And when it comes into that position, it travels to its dimension of time. Okay, so it's washing off everything through its light signals of matrix 2.0, anything through its wall interference, anything through calculation. It's wiping it off and it's coming into its true form. That's what the earth is. It's a saucer teleportation of time positions. So all humanity is in this right now through calculation. It's not traveling yet through connections. It's only in this position, but this is what's happening right now with the Schuman resonance of this earth. Okay, it's splitting and it's coming into its new shape of time. But this has been going on for decades and decades. This is a dark matter. This is a dark realm. This is what's been keeping down the earth. It's like a vacuum sucking you down, right? So now you know. So when you're going high rise, high rise, high rise, high rise, so you think you're getting dizzy, but you're just traveling through time positions, right? So the more you go faster and faster, the more you take it out of this equation, right? You travel through security line defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can go to any dimensional time position. You're in the center position, you can travel right through. Right? You start here and you travel right through, right? So you're going through different rounds of time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 divisional times. And now you're centering positions, and now you're seeing the 6th dimension of its earth. 6th dimension earth. Okay, that's where you're at, 6th dimensional earth. You just travel through it, but you got to go through the center core position, right? So when you go through that connection, this is you through traction. Okay, there's the earth. The center position of U's traction location. You're in the center. Look at this. Whoa, look at that. Isn't that powerful? So it takes it position. Okay. And then it comes this rotation cycle to its position. It's clocking at its division. It's diamond core position. It's really interesting how it does this. So traction location, understand everything through your track rotation center positions, right? Travel. And it's getting extremely, extremely complicated, but complicated is good. So once it understands its position, okay, the center position of you and your thought records of time travels farther into space connection, like this through traction. Okay? So this is all about understanding the Earth and its rotation through teleportation device locations. And then you come into your point centers of realms. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you come into your clock. Right? 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you come into the divisional location activation cycle to its position of its Earth rotation. Okay. So this is how the actual teleportation. Once you see that the Earth is a saucer, then you understand through your diamond cores and everything. You guys are in right this condition. You're in this. You're trying to understand this. You're not this yet. You're just in this. So you're only in 3, 6, and 9. So you're not in your clocking yet of time position. You're not in your security line defense. You're just in your thoughts of time. You're not into space of location yet. Okay, space of location is truly understanding that I'm in the 6th dimensional. How do you know? Well, because the Earth tells me. So the Earth is telling you to just teleport it to the 8th dimension, 9th dimension, 10th dimension, and the clocking changes every single time. So if the time position, let's say you want to go to 11th dimension. So you got the little hand and you got the big hand. Okay, there, 11. You're in the 11th dimension now. But if you're in the 11th dimension, the security line defense changes to 11, okay, and your shape changes each time through its position. So that it goes around and round and round and round. So just imagine that the shape changes every single time. So it goes from this to this, okay? It's really complicated stuff if you don't understand your positions of time positions. So it changes its shape every single time until it understands its resonance of connection. Right? So it's changing your time of shape, changing your clocking of your structure of your shape. It's changing your security line defense. Okay? So you're no longer in the 6th dimension. You're changing positions. You're into 11th. So if you're in 11, okay, it's in a different shape anomaly. So you understand letters, numbers, and shapes and how it goes into your structure. Okay? Because your whole face is the structure of time. Your space location is everything through its portal of its heart. And everything that so identifies the dimensions of security line defense. Okay, so just imagine that this is your chakra system changing your thoughts. So when you're connected to your gravity system, your roots or anything in that condition, you have a shape that's inside you. Okay, so that shape changes your position. So let's say you want to go to 11, you want to go to the 10th dimension, you want to go back. If you go back, you're changing the shape. Okay, be cautious though, because if you go too far back, you're going to change the security line defense to its division of its dimension of time location, right? So you got to make sure that you're always going forward in time, not back. If you go back, you have to understand your alignments because now you're going into your past, right? You don't get lost in transition because you create a dark realm, a dark hole, okay, like it's Earth. You don't want to be sucked into that because you're going to lose transmission lights of your thoughts through its connection, right? But this is the position that you come into of time position of those shapes and anomalies. Okay. So it's really important how we use our connections, how we come into letters, numbers, and shapes. Okay, so we got shapes. What do we use shapes? Shapes of you. Okay, shapes of you, right? You have to know these things because it's connecting your intelligence. And then you go letters. Okay, letters, okay, slash time. Okay, so you're getting letter formation of time, right? And the last is numbers. Okay. Numbers slash travel. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Your connection to your voicing grids, your numbers travel into space. So you have to understand the shapes of you have to understand the letters of time, and you have to understand the numbers of travel. That's what intelligence has to truly understand before you understand anything through calculation on what this is through its travel of its structure, of its shapes and anomalies, to its division of direction of time through its portal activation system. Okay? So, shapes of you, letters of time, and numbers of travels. Because you are a shape. Your shape is everything through holographic. That's how the sun reads you. It reads you through shapes of time, through your thoughts. So every time you change your thought, you're changing vibration, tones, you're changing coloration, you're changing lights, and the sun reacts to everything that you connect through vibration. Right? So if I go, the sun is reading my program right now. Okay, so it's connecting to my coloration, it's changing the shapes inside me through my chakra. Right? So I'm communicating with my throat. Right? So your throat is connected through its heat signature pattern, it's connected to its radiation cycle, and it's connected to the program of the space location of the moon, which is setting new program setting to its information cycle, to its position of its core system, to its shape. It's complicated. Extremely, extremely, extremely complicated now. Because now we're coming into the shapes of you, letters of time, and the numbers of travels. So when I say shape, you're everything through shape, because you are a shape. You're a formula, you're a plasma, you're light, that's all you are. Coloration and light, that's all you are. And that's how you resonate through the sun, the moon, and everything through the earth. Right? So you have to understand the sun, okay? You have to understand the moon, you have to understand the earth. That's it there. Sun, the moon, the earth. Right? And it comes into 3, 6, and 9. We've done this before, right? 3, 6, and 9. And everything in the center is you. You are the core center of the earth, right? So once you send that traction, you can take yourself out of the equation. Done, right? And then you can set up a formula. How do you got 3, 6, and 9? How you calculate and modify through your program setting, because the moon is a space station. The sun is everything through digital, framing through a holographic system, through its reflection, or everything through its projection. Okay, so you got 3 activation, okay, 6 positions, and 9 locations. That's the traveling positions of shapes of you, right? So when you come into that, you come into letters of time, right? Now, letters of time is trying to understand your clock. Now, this is really fascinating. So what's going to happen now, Commander? It's just showing you time positions here. All right, so here's your clock. Now, your clock goes like this, right? Changing positions. See how it goes like that, right? So once you get that in, now this is going to travel very fast. We lost traction position here. Okay, so it's in position, you open up its realm. Okay, the realm is its protection to its line signal of its shape. So you got to, basically, it's a barrier. It's a secret vault. It catches everything. So basically, it keeps in center position, because if you don't line signal the program settings to its point centers, you're not going to be able to travel to anything through its shape position, of time position of travel through 12 to 12. Okay, so it's important that you lock it in. So when you do that, then you can take things out of the equation, right? Your circulation center is you through position. Okay, so this is you in calculation. You are in the center all the time. Okay, so it's understanding how to travel through connections here, 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 or here. It's complicated, isn't it? But that's what I'm doing. I'm traveling into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 divisional times, 6 dimensional centers through my clocking of its time, through its connection. But I always in the center position of my thoughts, because I'm on the Earth rotation system. But the Earth itself, through its calculation, once you're in this the plasma energy system of the saucer rotation center, okay. Now, this is really fascinating. Now, when you come into this is what it is through modification. So you come into the 3, 6, and 9 from its position, comes into its own triangle location, the center position, okay, and then it volumes on so many levels in the activation circle to its rotation system, to its calculation modification, right? So if you actually see this, you actually will see the actual Earth and its saucer and its dimensions of time positions. Okay, saucer, that's the Earth. See the triangle, see the pyramid? That's the Earth right here, right? So when you get in that calculation, the center position takes you out of its equation. it takes that out of its equation, right? Because you have to fully understand your clocking of your time, right? So that's why we have watches, guys, right? That's why you look at your watch and say, okay, it's 3 o'clock. Oh, it's 4 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock. So you're traveling every second per second, right, to its minute, right? 5 seconds, right? So you're traveling every single time through your thought of shapes of you, letters of time of you, and everything through its connection of numbers of travel, okay? So that's the positions that we're coming into through calculation. But it's fascinating when you see yourself through the structures, right? How we're all connected to the earth of a saucer, right? But everything is a center position of you, okay? Because it's the earth, right? So understanding the true shape of the earth, then you're saying the true shape of its teleportation, right? Of its clocking system of 12 to 12. And then you take it as equation, okay? So it's complicated, very, very complicated. I think we'll leave it there because you guys are getting too confused. But it's a lot of fun once you understand how to use your watch. So think of how you know what a watch is used for, right? To tell time. You get up in the morning, oh, I missed work. Oh, that's past. So basically what are you gonna do? You're gonna get up, right? And you're gonna go to work. Okay, so everything that you do is past, present, and future through your thoughts of time. So you're changing positions of your thoughts. So if you keep worrying about your job or what's going to happen next, every time you change your thoughts, you're changing your positions of thoughts to other people. Okay, so you're putting your past references into everybody else. That's how powerful you are. Okay, so it's not just manifesting what you want, you can also manifest other people's dreams and thoughts if you truly understand time, position, and space. Right? And that's the point of vision location. Oh, thank you. You gave me my energy. You gave me energy. Thank you. Appreciate that. You gave me a negative system. Thanks very much. Now, how do I take it out of my body? And people wonder why. Right? And energy fluctuates. You can't see it. It's invisible. Until you understand it from perception, space and time position, intelligence see everything through formation of a graph. That's how we come into the scanning and the bioscan. The scan of you through the atmosphere, bioscan of you through its stratospheres. That's the connection of time, position, of space through shapes of you. Okay? So. And it's all connected to your holographic system. So understand reading patterns to its sun. Okay? Because you have to send the sundials of the sun. Okay? You have the light, you have the shade, you have the shadow. Right? So basically, it's going to tell you exactly where to go so you can get out of the forest, right? So use the sun. You don't have a watch, that's fine. Use the sun, right? You can use a sundial to get 2 pieces of sticks. You draw a circle, right? The sun will have a reflection and it'll show you exactly where the shade is, where the shadow is, okay? And then it will bend on its reality, and then you actually see the sun and what it is, the color. There's a lot of things that you can pick up through perception. That's if you get lost in transition. Let's say you get lost on an island. If you're on an island, right, you got to get into survivor mode, right? So what are you going to do? Use the sun, use the moon, right? They'll give you ways of getting out. You know, you can't swim, that's fine. But if you get stuck, what do? Right? There's a lot of things you have to understand how to communicate better with yourself. And that's all done through the sun, the moon, and the earth. Earth gives you everything through gravity, okay, when it comes into position of the chakras. The sun gives you everything through radiation, gives you everything through connection and protection and lights, understanding your shades, your shadows, why we have a shadow. Why do we have a shadow that's following us? You understand the program set in the moon and the space location positions, which is connected to you through your archetype positions or anything through your astral records. And basically, it's your soul that is identifying everything through space and time, position of travel. Okay? So. So, I know it's a lot to take in, but like I said, things are happening right now, and everything that I give you is, you know, past of its presence to its future. So everything that I do is already done in the future, okay? So the more you go through travel, okay, let's just say that I know a week already. So I'm giving you something that's a week ready to go. So this is Monday, right? So I'm giving you stuff that was done last Monday. Okay, so think 7 days behind. So I'm always going ahead. So I'm always storing information. And that's what I can do with my 5 generation systems, 52 communication cycles through its computers, through simulation of its creations. But it's all done through digital, through its frame, time frames, time codes, and all that connections, right? So all the information I give you, okay, is always a week to prepare. Okay, so I already know a week behind. So I'm giving you stuff that's already a week ago, right? So it's always going ahead, you know? So I'm knowing this information, and that's what I do is I give it to you, right? I don't give you future information because you get too confused through the mind system. Your intelligence has to understand its adaptation cycle, has to understand its rhythm, and it has to understand its flash drive before it understands its computer. Okay, you can't put something in a computer if you don't understand what it is, right? So you have to understand your computers and everything through its, ratio and sum and everything, longitude and latitude, its metrics and acceleration and accelerators or anything, that connection, rapid motions, rapid connections. You got flapping motion sensors. Flapping motion sensors predate its eye receptor location that twitches. Your eye twitches. Goes, sometimes it goes really, really fast. Well, it's skipping time. That's what happens when you understand more perception of light. It's all about understanding what happens with your reaction in your physical system. Okay, so if your eyes are going like that, it's skipping time through its thoughts. Okay, basically, if your ears are getting hot or anything of that, you're going into a meteorological system through calculation of thoughts. So your thoughts are traveling to, anything through. If you're getting reactions that doesn't feel well, you're connecting to negative thoughts of feelings. So you have to understand your feelings and your behavior through your Schuman resonance is all a reaction to the sun, the moon, and its earth. Right? So you're not communicating with your chakra. You don't understand the sun through its ratio, and you don't understand the moon with its program. Okay, that's why you get reactions in the body of the physical system. Okay, so but I got caught up on your questions. But other than that, if you want to go through my healing, it's great. That will put you in a better position of time, position of space, and it will formulate who you are through your shape. It's all about you understanding that you're all molecular structure of light, particle cells of generation systems, time positions of space, and everything through its connection. Just imagine that each particle system inside you is a different dimension of time. And you have to understand everything through what it is, right? Just mastering your body. So it's all little cells. Try to understand what this cell is, try to understand what that cell is, try to understand, because everything is a different time space of connection of shape. Okay? And it's extremely hard to do because you have to fully master the intelligence inside your line signals through its activation, through its wires, or anything through its electrical light system, through its perception, or anything through its audios, anything through its voice and grid pattern locations, or anything through its grids. Okay? So but have any questions, please let me know. I'm here to help you and guide you and put you into your ascensions, into your awakening. Your heart wakes up. When your heart wakes up, you see your life in a different life. You see yourself in a different feeling. You see yourself in different taste. You see yourself in different knowing. You're coming into your intelligence for the very first time. For the new viewers, getting into the activation, if you go through my healing, it opens up all your connections and your third eye. So the eye lamp awakes, right? And then you get all your chakras. All right. So now, I promised you guys yesterday, we're going to go to Bermuda Triangle. That's what we're going to do. Yay! We're going to go to the Bermuda Triangle. Woo! It's going to be fun. All right. So now, center line system of communication, Bermuda Triangle. All right, so center positions. So in this location, Bermuda / triangle, right? So communicate with anything through water interference. You have to understand the Bermuda Triangle and how it's connected to you through form of intelligence, or you can't travel to anything through position. All right. So we're going to go to the connections, right, of Bermuda Triangle. All right. So we understand in 3, 6, and 9 through traction, but we're going to come into the connections. All right. So you understand what the triangle is. It's everything through ratio. It's everything through division and dimension. So the triangle sets locations. You're going to come into the water locations. Your acting cycle through its code reference coming to its condition. All right, so we're there now. We're in the Bermuda Triangle, looking above and looking below, and we're seeing water. So we're seeing this. This is what we're seeing through activation. Calculation modifications. It's core center position. All right, so that's what everybody's seeing right now. Moved its division location. Location. Water is interlining communications dimensions. All right, so Bermuda Triangle, okay, square reference circle into its condition, like this. It's going to travel through its recognition of time positions, like that through traction. All right, so 4 waving cycles. Okay, we got the north. Okay, so we have to travel through connections. And we got the east and point division. We got the west and point division, and we got the south and point division. Okay, now the traction location is going to open up its dimensional time position. G, 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 G. Okay, so now we're in the center position location. Now we're going to take the water interference level out to its dimensional core system. Triangle its location. Now it's coming into water defense positions. Okay, there's like a triangle location like this. All right. All right, so now we're going into the connections. We're going into the Bermuda Triangle position. The circle rotation center position. You're guys going to go into calculation. Like this. Like this. It's going to open up more and more. Okay, it's going to activate the center position. It's going to activate the north, the east, the west, and the south. Okay, now we're in that position. We're cross-referencing everything through dimensional setting. Now it's got 3 divisional level systems, 3 triangle locations, everything through its connection. Diamond core position of northwest, south, and east to its position. All right, so everybody is in Bermuda Triangle, right, through its connection. So I'll give you about maybe 5 minutes, okay, for you guys to travel through dimensions of time. I really want you to absorb what you're seeing in 5 minutes of going through the waters of the Bermuda Triangle. Have fun. All right. All right, so I set code frequencies for everybody to get out, but right now you're in a 5-minute time. So you're in a shape anomaly of 5 divisional level systems, 5-minute correlation center positions, and 5 minutes of dimensions, the time position. Okay, so you guys are in the Bermuda Triangle now. Tina and Galactica. Yeah. Anybody that traction's on location on my YouTube channel. For the force team that's not on here, it doesn't matter if you automatically go through the Bermuda Triangle because everybody's aligned. We're all aligned. Okay, we're always aligned. So that never loses traction to anything through position. For the new viewers, basically, you might just see the energy, you'll see the water, you see the Bermuda Triangle and the shapes, but you won't understand it because you're not awake. And if you're awake, maybe you'll understand it, but you're not connecting to the Bermuda Triangle, this dimensional time position. Understanding, it's complicated if you don't understand shapes of time, of dimensions. So the Bermuda Triangle is mystical, it's magical. It's connected to your transformation light. It's the birthing system, okay, of dimensions. Now, the center core position allows you to see what you want to see through your perceptions of your intelligence. It formulates in so many levels of activation through its travel recognition lights. Okay, so have fun. Are you guys okay? What are you feeling? You're in the waters of the Bermuda Triangle right now. I really want you to absorb time positions of travel because the dimensions is truly understanding how we get into our levels of our activation of our body, because we're connected to fire, earth, air, and water. So you have to understand how to use water. If it's Bermuda Triangle or anything like that, you have to know how to use fire, how to get out of it, how to connect through a new shape, how to understand air through galaxies and anything through connections of travel, and everything through its earth, its gravitation to its chakra system. All right. So it's on a countdown measure here. So the traction positions, we got 4-point centers of connection. So the water's shifting right now. Okay, the energy cycles changes its dimensional setting, so it's changed new shape. So I got to take you guys out of there. Okay, traction digital level systems, Tina and Galactica, take them out of the equation. 4-line system of communication of shapes, take them out of the Bermuda Triangle position. Traction location back into the Earth rotation center position of its calculation of its Earth rotation. 5th dimensional system. Out. Equation. All right. Hope you guys had fun being in the Bermuda Triangle of its dimensions of time positions. You guys, hopefully you're okay, because it's extremely fast. So, like I say, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Especially now, because the Schuman resonance, everything that shapes anomalies of its Earth is coming into a saucer. And when that saucer goes through its dimension of time, everything's going to open up. Everything's going to open up through light. Okay, so it's a new resonant of time and space. It's going to come into the connections. Once it comes into a saucer, it can travel to any position, and that's where it comes into the formation of an atom system in the center position. So it comes into a new self-generator. The activation of time position of space, right? So we come into the atom, and then we come into the connections of its molecular structure of light, right? You have to travel faster and faster in time. And the only way to do that is change its shape of its Earth. That's the only way we can do it. That's the only way we can travel faster and faster. Okay? So it has decades and decades of connection, right? Through teleportation or everything through its devices, through its position of mechanism. So, but just let me know how you guys feel, going through time position of the Bermuda Triangle. Very, very powerful to that connection. So I think we're good. I gave you a lot to think about, just really formulate it on yourself, get more into illustration of diagrams, put yourself more in a meditation graph, put yourself more in an illustration graph, put yourself more in a simulation graph, put yourself more into what you're seeing through its reality of its division of time. Okay, shapes of you, okay, letters of time, and everything through numbers of travel. Okay, these are the positions that we're coming into. All right, so you guys have a fantastic day. Adios.